Well, good day to you. Thank you very much for turning up. Really good to see you guys again. Well, even though I'm not seeing you, there's a few of you around there, so that's pretty good. It's always really good to get the feedback on what people are saying and what they think about it, so really appreciate it. Today, I'm going to go straight into it, and it's how I dealt with public order situations, how you dealt with even a one-to-one or a crowd. The crowds are easy, to be honest, because you tend to be working as a whole. The strategy's been set, and there's been lots of argument whether is there a two-tier policing? Is this new thing that's coming out? You'll probably find that that's some carefully selected footage of a certain protest v another one. But I ain't going to get into all that at the moment, because that tends to be just the Met anyway, who have all eyes on, and the rest of the country is still here as well. But yeah, it's a bit of a mess in London at the moment, isn't it? They need some really good leadership with their mayor and some real top brass. And in the meantime, don't take it out on the frontline cops. They are doing a cracking job against all the odds. All right, so if you're angry with the system and how it is, then lay off the frontline cops. It's not them. Okay, they've just got a job to do, and they're doing it as best they can. And decent people. Okay, so the first thing that would happen. I was Devon and Cornwall. You think, well, that's not a lot. I was single crewed a lot, and I did 30 years as an armed response officer. Well, 23 as an armed response officer, 30 years on frontline doing shifts, and a lot of my role, because I specialised as a tactical firearms commander, operational firearms commander, which was like team leader of firearms units, and we would do vehicle interceptions, building entries, all sorts. So quite a lot of frontline stuff. And even though I do take the mick and say Devon and Cornwall is just a beautiful little place with the sun always shines, even at night, and sometimes people swear. And it is quite like that sometimes, but a lot of the time it isn't. And I've been to some pretty near scrapes, really. And if you read my book, Farms and Fatals, it will tell you all about 30 years of policing here. I did public order units where it was protests for the bypasses being done, the veal calves. Do you remember the veal calves exports in Plymouth? And they were dealing, that was quite tricky because there was lots of elderly people were involved in that one. And so it was very, very sensitive policing, because I understand elderly people break quite easily. So the key things that I always remembered, and this is what kept me safe and not getting into any trouble, is, first of all, I knew my powers. I knew my powers on the front line. And the frontline powers I knew as a police officer would be my powers of entry, when I could bash a door in and go in, right? And it's basically if someone was shouting at me saying, "Oh, you copper, I hate you, you're an ugly bastard," or whatever, I couldn't knock their door in and go in. But if they shook a fist at me and said, "I'll bloody have you one day, mate, and I'll have you," then I could bash the door in and arrest him. Would it be proportionate? Probably not. But it gives you the idea of the different legalities. The other one is so my drink drive would be something, but that's another subject, because you need to know that law there and then. Public order is a cracking one, isn't it? That is one, because they're in your face, all right? You're a police officer and they're maybe a bit drunk, and they, "Hey, you pig," they're in your face and they're like, yeah, and you're thinking, right, okay, now I've just got to deal with this. They've got somebody else with a camera recording this. So you've got to forget that, and you just keep professional. And when I say professional, it means you be sure of your powers, all right? You basically have confidence. You know your powers and have confidence with that. And it's not too difficult to learn that, is to be sure of that, all right? And so you can say, and how many times did I repeat Section 3 Criminal Law Act? So I've got some yob saying, "Oh, yeah, and so, right, you've had enough now, you need to go home. You can't make me," all right? So, well, Section 3 of the Criminal Law Act says I can make you, spin him round, start walking them up the road. "Wait, what are you doing? You can't be you." Section 3. So I would dictate it to them. Section 3, Criminal Law Act says a person may use such force as is reasonable in the circumstances in the prevention of crime. right? It does go on to more irrelevant stuff, but that's the key part. And that means any person may use such forces as reasonable in the circumstances in the prevention of crime. So if I had somebody who was winding up someone over there or interfering, and that person snapping back, and you're saying, get back, come on, just move away, you're interfering, go away. And they've had a go at them earlier or whatever, and there's a bit of a history, and they're not going. Now, why you can't touch me, don't touch me. Yes, I can touch me. I can touch you under section 3 of the, and as I'm doing it, section 3, nice and loud, for the camera, for the people, confident, spinning them around. And it's like section 3 of the Criminal Law Act says a person may use such forces as reasonable in the circumstances in the prevention of crime. Thank you. Move, you're going home or you're being arrested. That is your last chance. You notice my voice, it's confident. I know what I'm talking about. You want to take me on at your own peril, pal. You know, that's what you're saying. And I found that the more something got stressful, I'll go into a few more sort of laws and powers that you have as a police officer, but the more confident you are, the less likely they wanted to take you on. They didn't want to know, all right? And it's composure as well. So if you're going in like, just get back, you know, get back, will you? No, now stop it. Let me, look, let's just engage a bit. No, now, right, target. I see there's a target there. He's easy. I'm going to have that one. All right. Now, often I would be single crewed. Okay, single crewed. I'd be on my own. A lot of the time I didn't have a gun on me, but on later days where even the single crews had a gun. So, but they didn't often see that. So I'd be walking in. Now, if I walked in, I'd be often walking into a pub, and not recommended in the heart of London, but you get some certain areas where you gauge it from the outside. Looks all right, should be all right. If you walk in with total confidence, good morning, everyone. All right, landlord, what's the problem, please? You know, and it is like that. But if you slink in and it's sort of, hello. If you got, you know, yes, hello. It's that confidence is everything about it. And as a police officer, on my own, if I had to go through a crowd of, and it wouldn't necessarily be violent, but it would be just youngsters wanting to have a go, a little verbal go, wanting to embarrass the cops, see if they could wind him up a bit. And it would be, I'd be looking around, and as I walk through, and I'd look straight at them and go, "You right, gentlemen?" And I'd absolutely purposely just walk through. Have a good evening. You know, they didn't want to take the chance. They didn't want to take the chance because this guy was confident. He could make him look stupid. But if I'm actually walking through like that, oh, target, there's a target. And that's that little MVC, the non-verbal communications. So looking, you know, the other powers really is you've got your common law. Yeah, you've got your common law. You've heard about common law. Murder comes under common law. All right, is that the offence of murder? But common law is a right to self-defence. Self-defence. All right, and all these are encompassed and sort of surrounded by the fact of you can measure. Look, all these laws, just because it's law doesn't mean you have to do something. I mean, cops know this stuff, so I know I'm speaking to non-cops as well. Is it proportionate? Is what I'm doing proportionate? Is it reasonable? All right. Is it, you know, am I being least intrusive? Is it actually, is it necessary? You know, if it's not, just, you know, you're going to deal with it to the relevant level. Technically, you could arrest them. You know, let's put Code G aside at the moment, but technically, yeah, you could get it through custody. What's the point? You know, it's not proportionate. But often it is reasonable. You need nicking, and that's the other side. Because, okay, you go through the common law. Okay, so that means I can use a preemptive strike. So if somebody is in my face, as a police officer, somebody's in my face, I can, whoa, push them off. Oh, you push me. Yeah, I'm using common law. Common law, you know, self-defense. That's it. All right, self-defense, common law. Look it up. Off you go. Right. And then because they could be assaulting you, you're using section 3 of the Criminal Law Act to push them away. That's what you're using. There's the two laws. It's easy. All right. And if then, of course, and the only other one you really need to know, and this is for so that public watching the videos are aware of what powers people are using, because so often it's like, you can't do that, you can't do that. Yes, we can. We can do that. Well, I could do that until I finished my 30 years in April, last April. Right. Yes, we can. 117, Police and Criminal Evidence Act. All right. And that allows any officer to, and that's any police officer, to use reasonable force in order to carry out a something under the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, and that might be a stop search. Okay, so I can, if I've got reasonable suspicion to believe that somebody has got an item, a knife on them, for example, I can use reasonable suspicion to search them. Okay. Get off me, right? I can use reasonable force to detain them. To detain them, that doesn't mean arrest them. That means grab hold of them, and that means keep them still while someone else searches them. And it's always helped, I find, if the video's there, right? I'm using 117, the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, to detain you whilst I carry out a search, right? And you go wisely or whatever, all that stuff, all right? And you tell them who you are, but that's a different thing. But it's that confidence to know your powers. All right, so Section 3 Criminal Law Act, it's common law, it's 117, the Police and Criminal Evidence Act. ARV, armed response officers, will know this like that. They'll know that like that. And because we do our training all the time and because we are constantly going through this, whereas response officers can get a little bit rusty. They know they can do it, but they can't pick it out of the air like that. All right, and it's really important if you are response officers or you're just applying to be in the police, and just bear this in mind, is have these laws there. Okay, so just really, and that just wraps you in a safety blanket. Yeah, it just wraps you, makes you feel like you are completely secure. You know what you're doing, and that is it. Yeah, and just go on the fact as well of you've got this obstructing police, right? Obstructing, resisting police. And that's under the Police Act of 1996, but there was a revision in 2017. And so if somebody, you know, when you're dealing with somebody, and some idiot comes in, with a camera, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, can you just move back? Because we don't know who you are. We don't know whether you've got weapons on you. We haven't a clue who you are. So you just move back. Thank you. Keep it professional. Keep it polite. There is no need to lose your temper. That doesn't mean you don't have to be firm. Oi, sir, telling you now, go away, move away. That's be absolutely firm. No, I'm telling you, you've got to move away now. You are obstructing us. You are in the lawful execution of our duty. We're trying to do our duty and you're holding us up now, all right? And you're causing an issue. So is there anything, and I always say this, we used to use this in public order. Actually, it's useful for any other time. Is there anything for the cameras, all right, and for your camera, first of all, remind them that, well, I'm videoing you as well. Remember that, okay? So I can use the unedited version. Right, and it's always good to say, is there anything I can say or reasonably say or do that will make you go away because you are obstructing us and I'm telling you you're obstructing us. Now, when they hear that in court, that's useful because they say, what a reasonable chap or lady, you know? So that's right. Look, mate, is there anything I can reasonably say or do that will make sure that you will move away because you're now obstructing us in the lawful execution of our duty? Is that right? The key thing then is, well, and then okay, well, you can compromise with them and say, okay, as long as you don't come over from that, I won't see you as a threat. But at the moment, I'm dealing with this, and I don't know you from Adam. Okay, and if I often said, if I want to make my 30 years, I can't trust everyone I see, especially when they're going against what I am asking them to do, because I don't know why they're doing that, you know. So really important to do that. Nearly knocked the drink over here. So direct commands I found are really good. It's no, go now, right? It's when you explain, look, this is what we're doing, but you need to leave now, or you're a bit drunk, you need to go now, all right? It's when people are, they're like, yeah, no, or they just go, yeah, all right, go, and then they're coming back. So, you're not understanding me now. Yeah, but the thing is, right, you know, with the protest, look, this isn't the time, you need to go away. Yeah. Look, I want to join the police. Can I join the police? I've got three offences of grievous bodily harm. Look, you know, you're a little bit drunk, you need to go now. I'm trying to deal with this incident, you know, so they're not really aggressive and that side of things, but they are so annoying. And I often say, look, that's it, go, no, gone, bye, you know, and I'd say, you're boring me now. You know, my crew used to know if I said you're boring me now, usually meant the cuffs were coming out soon. Because you can only give them so much chance, all right? And the other thing you want to mention is some people say, oh, it's not illegal, it's not illegal. Well, actually, I think there's certain few people that need to understand that something might not be illegal, but actually it's not polite, it's not respectful. And if you want police officers to be polite and respectful for you, they're human beings. And I often said, I'll treat people as I'm treated. And if you treat me like an arse, I'm very much likely to do the same to you. I owe you no favours. Now, I used to always say, I used to give them an absolute blast. Right, Section 3, criminal law says I'm right, you know, and if it was at a point when I could say, right, should we just start again then? You know, or if they were larging it up a bit, so yeah, you know, and say, look, please don't. The phrase I used to use quite often, and honestly, it used to work so often. I heard a dog handler say it once, PC House say it once. Bloody brilliant. So it's going like that. And say, excuse me, yeah, can you move along here? And you get someone think they can large it up to a copper, right? And you'd look at them and then you say, I'm sorry, sir, please don't confuse my politeness for weakness. If I need to, I will stick you on your backside. Do you understand? Right. Should we start again? And they go, yeah, right, well, because you are showing it's quite cool, calm, and they know what's going to happen. Yeah, don't treat my politeness as weakness. It's a really good phrase for actually, you know, I'm not tricking people. I'm actually manipulating an aggressive situation to make it non-confrontational. So I'm saying, look, I'm in charge. What I say goes. If people think they can argue with you all the time. No, you can't. Complain afterwards, that's the place. If you try to argue with me now, right, you're likely to get arrested. And people think that's horrendous. It's always been that. Don't argue with cops in the street. Doesn't do you any good. And I think this is where bosses need to come out and be far more firmer with this. Don't argue with my cops in the street. There's a very effective pro-public complaint system in progress, completely against all the cops. Right? It's not unbiased by any means. Right? So use that. And I'd say, you know, it's just going through. Really, it's just through the confidence, isn't it? I just run through these again. It's be sure of your powers. Massively important. You know, that's the crucial thing. I was trying to think of it then. Is once you've arrested somebody, because what I do is you warn them again, and if things are ebbing and flowing and you can afford it and it's a little, no, hang on a minute, I did tell you to go earlier, then fine, okay. If it's just ticking away in the background, but if they're in the face and they're causing you a problem, you warn them, okay. You warn them again and say, right, the next time you will be arrested, do you understand that? And by all means fit in as, look, is there anything I can say or do to reasonably say or do that will make you walk away now, because you're clearly here to antagonize and to cause problems, and we can't afford for you to do that because we're trying to do a job. And right, so get that if you can, even if they're not listening, just say it. Compose yourself. If something's getting really excitable and you feel yourself going up, do you know what? I used to take a really deep breath. I used to use this for people in my police car when I was giving a ticket. They go, oh, have you got anything better to do? And you go, well, not at the moment, sir. You know, and they would go through a few things. And I'd say, yeah, well, you know, and I'd say, okay, can you tell me your name and address? Yeah, it's Johnny Smith. I'd say, and that was the point where I learned to take a deep breath and then enjoy it. Enjoy it. Save the moment. Because the police officer has the upper hand here. And I would say, I'd often use, instead of getting angry, I'd be quite patronizing. And that wouldn't be in the police training manual, all right? But patronizing makes you feel a whole lot better. And when I say that, I mean, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't get your name and address. Could you go through that a little bit more slowly so that I can write it down? Right, is that better? Because I've got better. I'm sorry, sir, I didn't hear you. I didn't understand, because you're talking very fast. So you need to talk slowly, otherwise you'll leave me no alternative but to arrest you in order that I can confirm your identity. I'm happy to do that, but it will take some considerable time. Now, shall we start again and start acting with a little bit of mutual respect instead of what you're doing right now? Oh, yeah. You know? The crucial thing is, if they call your bluff and you have the power, nick them. Nick them. So we've got them arrested. And the thing is, get them in the van, get them gone. We've struggled with them, and we've had that, but there's a lot of faffing about at that point. I wear loads of people here with cameras, and I would often get the van up. If I knew I was going to arrest him at that point, knew he wasn't going to go away, I would call the van up early. So the van was there. And often the sight of the van would then whisk them away. And if that happens, so be it. Good, they've gone. Off they go. Get the van there, because the last thing you want is that person in custody on the floor with a load of cops on them, with a load of people saying, you know, he can't breathe, and all this sort of business, because they'll play up. As we all know, they'll play up to the camera, and that's the first thing they come out with now. So I would often say as a supervisor, so, right, get them in the van, get them gone. And then with the cops around, cops in the van, gone. There's no entertainment there. That's the key thing. So you're dealing with them, you know your powers, you've used your confidence, they're still not going. Is there anything unreasonably say or do? And you use this for every single one. It's easy to remember. It's good for the camera. It's good for, police complaints have nothing. They've got nothing on you if you're doing all these things, because it shows a process that you're going through in your mind. It shows you're being reasonable, proportionate. You know, you're giving them every chance, but you haven't. So then get them locked up, get them in the van, get them gone. And we all know if they get convicted, and so be it. You know, a lot of the time, just a night in the cells was enough if they were drunk and they had to wait in the morning until they were interviewed or dealt with. That was good enough, wasn't it? In this day and age, it's terrible. But there we are, you know. So the key thing is always be fair, always be professional, because that one little bit of edited footage, you don't. And in order to stay professional, take your breath, enjoy it. Telling you, right, I'm going to enjoy this moment. I'm going to enjoy outwitting this person. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to say getting them stressed. But if you don't know your powers, you're running after them down the road thinking, oh, I need to nick him, but I don't know really how. And so be prepared. And if you're doing these checks on the side of the road, you've got to be prepared for every challenge that you're going to be given, because there are idiots out there who don't care about right or wrong. They just want to make a copper look stupid because they got arrested once or twice when they thoroughly deserved it, and they didn't like getting caught. So they just, and that was I think one of my final things is, don't try to persuade all the people all the time. There's some idiots out there. You'll never persuade them. Don't try it. Write them off. Okay, just write them off. So if you're in the street and you just say, and then you've got this thing coming, and then they're talking about, oh yeah, but you cops, you this, and you know, the usual stereotypical stuff. There was one I used to always say, it was a good job I don't stereotype you as much as you stereotype the police, isn't it? And that usually, what? Because that's what happens. Cops tend to treat someone as an individual when they meet somebody. Usually, how they get treated, they'll treat back. It's human nature. But a member of public will see a uniform and completely stereotype 130,000 cops because of maybe how they've seen an edited version of one cop on TV, you know, on YouTube or whatever. So don't try to please all the people all the time. Recognize a no-win situation. Just stay polite. And just say, look, I'm not going to convince you today, so that's fine. You go your way. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And just walk away from them. You know, if you haven't got the power to arrest them, forget it. Don't engage. Don't even talk to them. And I think is a really good one, actually, is try not to use corporate speak. I know the cops who say, you know, this is what you need to say and all that. But I saw someone on the YouTube once, on Twitter recently, saying, you know, and they're running down the road saying, can you, no, just engage in me. And you can tell they're thinking, oh, what powers have we got to do this? We know we can, but let's engage. They're not interested. They're troublemakers. They're out to cause trouble. They ain't going to engage with anyone. and not, you know, saying safeguarding. Oh, it's such a cliche word. It's the in word for policing at the moment. You know, I'm here to safeguard you. You know, that immediately turns people off. Don't say it. Use human language. I'm just here to make sure you're all right, or I'm just here to make sure he's all right, and you're interfering at the moment. So be wonderful if you could just wander off. Thank you. Oh, I just used to get so posh when I got angry. Yeah, would you mind? Off, go, off now. You know, I've spoken to you enough. You know, but translated in a statement or even a video, people would laugh at that, chuckle at that, because you're not getting vexed. Inside, you want to rip his head off, maybe, because human nature says you are trying to attack me and you're trying to tie me up in knots, get me in trouble, get me, you know. That's in your mind, but outwardly, that's exactly what you're doing. You're acting professionally. You're acting in a way that is different from maybe what your conscience would actually want you to do. Not conscience, what what you'd love to do to that person. But we can't, because we's the police, wasn't it? I think that's it, really. That's it. In summary, be sure of your powers. Be confident, and look confident. But be fair, always professional, and don't take any shit still. Don't take any shit. Nick them and worry about the paperwork later, all right? Because if you nick them once, they'll think twice next time with another copper. But if they've actually dragged you down the road, basically, and no one's nicked him, guess what he's going to do next time? Exactly that. He's going to be on YouTube, and all these little loits are going to look at that going, oh, that's how far we can get, is it? Fantastic. So it was a real key thing, is nick him. I used to actually, when there was a bit of a troublemaker when nightclubs were spilling out and you'd get some idiots. I remember this in Union Street in Plymouth when it used to be quite bad. And I used to say, hey, Jim, can you just get the van? We'll have this one in next time he causes trouble. All right, we'll get the van up and we'll have him in. And I'm not even talking to him, but he can overhear, or his mate can overhear. And that's a really good way. And then you find that I'm going to slink into the background because otherwise I can't have fun later. That's the way. It's these little tricks. But anyway, I've put a lot of these things in Favours and Fatals, which is my book. You can get on Amazon, which is massive sales, and I'm really, really pleased with it. So thank you very much for listening, and let me know your comments and whatever. And it would be good to catch you again next time. Cheers all.